we are getting ready to mount a TV right here. You can see I already have the mount up, but one of the problems with this is that there, as you can see, there are no outlets up here. So if we mount this TV, we're gonna have the ugly cord hanging down. Now there's lots of solutions to hide a cord. You could get one of those like little sticky things that kind of go through and hide the cord, but you can still see it basically. I am going to be running this through the wall, and I'm gonna be showing you the easiest way I found to do that. It's very simple, and it's using this, this tool, this ECHOGEAR wall mount, I guess, hider, whatever you wanna call it basically. How this works is you have these two pieces and you drill a hole, you put this in there, and then you put this one on the bottom, and then you use this little extension cord to plug it into your outlet. And then of course it does have the little parts to run like an HDMI cord or anything else behind it. And what I really like about this one is that you don't have to guess which bit you're gonna need. It comes with this bit. So all we need to do is drill this into the drywall, pop those in, run the wire down, and then we're basically good to go. So I'm gonna be showing you that process and how to hide your wires for your TV. Okay, so before you start using this, it is important to take some notes of things for planning to make sure that you put it in the right place. First, you want to take note on which side your TV outlet is on. So mine, most of the HDMI things are over here. The actual outlet is on this side, but it'll be long enough that I can run it and stick it over here. The second thing that you'll want to take note of is where your studs are. So you don't want to drill this into an actual stud. So I have a stud right here and a stud right here. I've gone through and measured those. So I'm actually going to be drilling this like right here so that I know that my TV is going to hide this part. It's not like on the actual mount. I mean, I could technically put it probably right there if I wanted to, but I'm gonna put it a little bit outside the mount because this is a 75-inch TV, so I know it's going to cover this. So wherever you end up drilling this, just make sure that your TV is big enough to cover that hole. The other thing that you will want to keep in mind is that the extension cord for this bottom is 6 feet. So you will need to be at least 6 feet from an outlet. So let me put this down here so you can see what I mean. So we have all these cords over here, and for the bottom one, we need to make sure that we can plug this in and that there's enough length to plug this into the bottom here. This one's gonna go right here. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so once you know where you're gonna place it, I just use a piece of tape to make sure that I get the outlets somewhat right over each other to make sure that's kind of level down that way. Then we're going to actually start drilling the holes. Now in order to use this drill bit, you just take this little part off on the back here, and then you slide this towards the front, just like that, and then make sure it kind of locks into place there. And then you can screw this back into place. Then once you have that through, you can stick this into your drill bit. And then with this, you stick this point in, and that's what makes the first impact there. And then just line it up where you want it, and then you can start drilling. And then it will start hitting the drywall here. And you can see it makes light work of getting that out. And we're gonna come down to the bottom and do the exact same thing here. Make sure this is kind of there we go. Okay, so now it is time for probably the hardest part, and that's to actually fish the wire through the wall. So I would recommend taping up any other wires that you're wanting to fish through. So I have an HDMI cord here. You can see I just taped it to this part, and we are going to fish this through the wall. Now, a helpful tip would be to use something like this to fish it through. I will leave a link to this down below. This is made for pulling wires through walls. It's hopefully gonna make this job a lot easier. So actually take this, if you don't, you can actually use a hanger to do this as well, but we're gonna use this because I think it's gonna be easier. What you wanna do is grab this and then actually put it on the bottom and fish this up. Okay, so now you can see, just fish that up the wall. So we have this little part that we can then tie this outlet to, and then fish it, run it through, pull it back through basically. So now we're just going to fish this line in. Now this will be either really easier or a little bit more difficult depending on your drywall situation. Mine, the insulation was really close to that wall there, so it took a second to pull it through, but it did end up working. I will make this disclaimer that I'm not an electrician here, so keep that in mind. Okay, so now that we have the hole in place, you'll want to pop this bottom cover off, and then there are two little screws back here. You want to unscrew those to get access so you can run that outlet or this cord through the back here. So we're gonna unscrew both of these. Then we're going to take this, make sure it's facing down basically, and this kind of goes in here, and there's a little lip right there that you want to make sure that pops into it. So you got that outlet in there, put the plate back on, and we're going to put these 2 screws back. Okay, so next we are going to pop off this little plate cover here. Then once that's popped off, you just slip this back here. And then this little system, you can see there's these little flaps here. Once you tighten those will grab onto the drywall and make it so that it's in there nice and tight, basically. You get those all in there. And then you just grab your screwdriver, give it 2 or 3 screws here, and it should be good. You can see that's looking good. Then we can take the bracket here and snap that back on to give it a nice clean finish here. Then you just do the same thing with the bottom, have it all tied in there. We can run this, and then this snaps back on there as well. And you take the provided extension cord here. This is 6 feet, so keep that in mind. We're gonna plug that in there, and then this plugs in to your power source, which I have hanging over here. So just plug that in right there, and we are now good to go. We'll get the TV mounted, make sure it all works. Now we have our wire hidden down here, and we are ready to mount our TV and plug it in right here. You can see the extension cord just goes right over this way. Okay, and here's what it looks like when everything is all finished. You can see we don't have any cords or wires hanging out here. They're all hidden behind the entertainment center. There's none running between here and this area. You can see we have the plug in here, and then it's just plugged in right behind here that goes to that wire. And then the wire then runs up to the top here where we have the power, and then also an HDMI cord that is plugged in for an Xbox. You can use whatever you wanted for this. And then I just have tape for the extra wires to the TV to make sure it doesn't fall underneath there. But very happy with this solution. You don't have to cut any wires or anything, which is really nice, and super easy to install. As you can see, pretty much anybody can install something like this into their wall. So hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.